lecture of this Java tutorial course,
अपने
and
रूम में बैठ
today we're gonna talk about variables. Don't worry if you don't understand every single thing in this lecture, because learning a programming language takes a lot of practice, and we're gonna practice these in other lectures as well. I'm gonna use the Hello World Java program from the last lecture as a starting point in here. So what is a variable? I'm gonna give you an example right here. I'm gonna type int and I'm gonna give it a name. Variables are like different types of boxes that can hold different things. As you can see here, I've given my variable a name and the first letter is lowercase, while the first letter of the second word is capitalized, and this is a type of convention in Java. And my variable is of type int, which means an integral, so it can hold a whole number, an integral number, no matter if it's positive or negative. So here I've declared my variable and now I can initialize it. And I can print this value by using the same println method like in the previous lecture. I'm gonna type sysout and control space, and again Eclipse will fill out the system.out.println method. Within parentheses I'm gonna write the name of my variable and I'm gonna click run, and as you can see here it outputs 42. Now as you can see I have declared and initialized my value in different steps. However, I can do it only in one step. So this is the same thing as we did previously, but it's declared and initialized in only one line. Now in Java are 8 different types of primitive variables, and we're gonna go through these really quickly, and in the next tutorial we're gonna be looking at classes and objects. So if you want an integral number, you usually use an int, but sometimes you see a short. So an int is a 32-bit value in Java. If you don't know what that means, it doesn't matter right now. However, short is a 16-bit value in Java, and it can hold slightly smaller numbers than an int value. I think it can hold up to 32,767, and we can output this in the same way. Sysout, control space, a short. And these names, by the way, you can call anything you want. You can call them numbers, amounts, values, basically anything you want. So there is a long version of an int as well, another primitive type in Java. And this is a 64-bit for really big numbers. And we'll output this in the same way. If you want a floating point number, you usually use a double. You use this for very precise decimal numbers. We're gonna print this out as well. We got the output right here. And there is no long version of the double in Java, but there is a short version of it, and it's called float. And float must take an F at the end of the number, as you can see. So double value can not fit into float value without an explicit costing, for which we'll talk in the next next lectures later on. We're gonna print the float value as well. However, int values and double values are most commonly used for integral and decimal numbers. In addition to these 5 primitive values, there are also another 3 interesting values in Java. Another one is char value, which can hold a Unicode character, and you can specify character using single quotes. It could be any character in your keyboard. I'll just write B. And there's also another very useful primitive type. It's called Boolean, and it can simply hold true or false. And finally, we have a byte type, which can only hold a 6-bit of data. It can be positive or negative numbers, but positive numbers only go up to 127, and negative numbers can only go up to 128. So I'm gonna leave 127. I'm gonna print it to console. I'm gonna capitalize the second letter. Okay, so that's it of declaring different types of boxes and putting different values on them. In the next lectures, we're gonna be looking at some non-primitive types, classes and objects. So I'll catch you in the next lecture. This is the This is the third lecture in this course. In the previous course, we looked at 8 primitive Java types, and today we're going to be looking at our first non-primitive Java type. Our first non-primitive Java type is called string, and we use it to work with text. So I'm in Eclipse, and I'm going to create a new project. So I'm going to name it string and click finish. And we got our string folder right here. As in the previous lecture, we're gonna create a class. We're gonna right click in our string folder and we're gonna go to new class. I'm gonna name this one application as well. So right here I'm not gonna ask Eclipse to create a main method for me. Instead I'm gonna show you another way how to create a main method. I'm gonna click finish. So here is our class. As we said in our previous lecture, every program needs a main method, an entry point. You can type it yourself, of course, but I'm gonna show you a handy shortcut that Eclipse has. So I'm gonna write main, and I'm gonna type Control space, and I'm gonna click enter. So as you saw in the previous lecture, we're gonna create an int variable. We're gonna name it a number. And in the same way you can create string, which can hold text. But instead string is written with uppercase because it's a class. And I'm gonna name it text. Of course the name could be anything in here. And now we're gonna put our text in double quotes. And I'm gonna put a random text in here. I'm gonna say hi. So here I want to gradually introduce you to the concepts of classes and objects. So here string is a class. That means it's just a type. Like in the real world, for example, fruits. The concept fruits doesn't refer to any particular fruit. It's just a general type of something. And in the same way, here string is a type of object which can hold text. And this right here is a variable which is able of referring to an object of type string. This doesn't contain or hold the object, it just refers to an object of type string. Don't worry if you don't understand everything right now, because we're gonna be coming back to strings throughout the course and gradually you're gonna understand it. And then we're gonna type a semicolon. Just notice that every sentence must end in semicolon. And I can output this string by typing sysout, control space, and within parentheses I'm gonna write the name of the variable. And here we have our first text that says hi. And you can do a lot of interesting things with string. You can add them together, which is called concatenation. So we're gonna concatenate different strings. I'm gonna create a blank string. And then another one. I'm gonna call this one more text. I'm gonna put here the word there. And now I'm gonna print them to console by typing sysout, control space. And here I'm gonna add all the strings together. So text plus blank plus more text. So here I'm gonna add the semicolon and I'm gonna click run. So you can see that here we have hi and hi there. Hi blank there. We can add text by adding it directly to the system out println line, like for example sysout control space hi plus blank plus there. So here you can see it's the same thing as adding string variables. Another way I could print all these strings together is by creating another string variable, hi there, and here I'm gonna add all the strings together. Now to print them all I have to do is use this single variable. So as you can see, they all output the same text. Now to show you that you can concatenate string with any other type, we have here an integer variable and we're gonna create a double variable as well. So here I'm gonna concatenate a string with an integer and a double. I'm gonna write my number plus a number plus a double. So I've clicked run, and as you can see here, we need to separate them. I'm gonna put another string in the middle. I'm gonna put a comma and a blank space. So I'm gonna click run again, and I'm gonna write here my numbers as long as there are two numbers. So you can now see that my numbers are 9 and 9.5. This was just to show you that you can concatenate strings with any other primitive type. So there are many other things you can do with strings, but we'll go through strings again in the upcoming lectures. So stay tuned. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. At today's lecture, we're gonna be looking at loops. Right now, I'm at Eclipse IDE as usual, and I'm gonna be creating a new Java project. I'm gonna name it Loops. I'm gonna click Finish. Then I'm gonna right-click on Loops folder and create a new class. And I'm gonna name this class My App. So here's our app. I'm gonna be creating a main method. I'm gonna write main, control space, and click enter. So you can see that indentation in here is all wrong. So I'm gonna select it all. Here I'm gonna tell you another handy Eclipse shortcut. To make a right indentation, select the text and click Ctrl Shift F. So as you can see, now it's all good. So in the first tutorial, you've seen the Boolean primitive type. I'm gonna name it myLoop. And you already know that it can hold true and false value. And I can output this by writing sysout, control space, myLoop, click run, and here you see the output true. So right here I could also write numbers with a comparison sign. For example, is less than 38, and this will again output true. As you can see, the comparison sign has a small end and a big end. The number in the side of the small end must be lower than the number in the side of the big end, otherwise the Boolean variable will output false. As for example, we're gonna write the 38 on the other side and 28 on this side, and you can see the output is false. We can also use an integer variable in here. So I'm gonna compare our new variable with 28. I'm gonna write here number, and this will also output true, because as you can see, number 23 is less than 28. So we can use a Boolean type to create and control a loop. So right here I'm gonna write while, and within parentheses I need a condition, and the loop will run while the condition will return true. So here I'm gonna say number is less than 34. Then I'm gonna open the curly braces, and I can put some more code within these curly braces. So I'm gonna type sysout, control space, and I'm gonna put some random text in here. And as you can see here, the variable number 23 is lower than 34, and the loop will return true. We don't need this Boolean variable anymore, so I'm gonna delete it. But for how long this condition will remain true? Of course, 23 will always be lower than 34. So if we run this, we're gonna end up with an infinite loop. So the loop will never terminate. So what we could do instead is add some more text to tell the loop when to stop. So I can write here number equals number plus 2. So what happened here is that we have updated our number variable. So instead of our variable staying 23 forever and 23 will always be smaller than 34, instead, for every iteration, it will be increased for 2. So our variable will start from 23, it will output OK, then it will increase for 2, and the sum will be stored to our integer variable. So the number will start from 23, then it will be 25, then 27, and so on. And when the number will become 34, the loop will output false and will terminate, because the number will no longer be less than 34. So if we run this, we'll only have 6 OKs. And to make this more clear on how the iteration goes, we're gonna output the number, and we're gonna concatenate it with our string. I'm gonna add a blank string in here. And now we can see that our number starts with 23, it updates to 25 due to this line, and it will store back our number here, and it will move on to 27, and as you can see, it will only go up to 33. And in this iteration, it will go up to 35. As long as it is 35, it is no longer less than 34, and this is how the loop terminates. So the structure of a while loop is the while keyword goes right here, the condition goes within the parentheses, and you have these two curly braces, and within them you will write the code that you want to execute repeatedly. And of course, you need a line right here that updates the condition, and hopefully it will come to a point and will terminate the loop. So the best way to learn loops is to practice them, try them out, write simple loops, put a starting point, and update the variable to stop them, and gradually everything will sink in your head. So that's it for this lecture, and I'm gonna see you in the next lecture with more exciting Java stuff.
lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one who doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna fall. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna feel. Doesn't wanna fall in love. May not see eye to eye, but we can be chill for just this moment. So turn out the lights and let's make a deal to just enjoy it. I'm not thinking about forever. I won't care if we don't end up together. Let's get high tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel, yeah. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one who doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna fall. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Oh, yeah. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Yeah. Doesn't wanna fall in love. We've lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one who doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna fall. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna feel. Doesn't wanna fall in love. May not see eye to eye, but we can be chill for just this moment. So turn out the lights and let's make a deal to just enjoy it. I'm not thinking about forever. I won't care if we don't end up together. Let's get high tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel. Give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one who doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna fall. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Oh, yeah. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Yeah. Doesn't wanna fall in love. We've lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one who doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna fall. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna feel. Doesn't wanna fall in love. May not see eye to eye, but we can be chill for just this moment. So turn out the lights and let's make a deal to just enjoy it. I'm not thinking about forever. I won't care if we don't end up together. Let's get high tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel, yeah. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one who doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna fall. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Oh, yeah. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Yeah. Doesn't wanna fall in love. We've lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one who doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna fall. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna feel. Doesn't wanna.
Hello, in this lecture of this Java course, we're going to be looking at for loops. I'm in Eclipse and I'm going to be creating a new project. I'm going to name this project for loops. Then, as usual, we're going to be creating a new class with a right click in the for loops folder. I'm going to name it my application. And I'm going to click finish. Now I'm going to create a main method. After writing main, click Ctrl space and click enter. And to format the indentation of the code, click Ctrl Shift F. And now we're going to be looking at for loops. I'm going to write the main structure and then we're going to go through each section. So you have the keyword for, you open the parenthesis, and here you must have 2 semicolons. Then we're going to open the curly braces, and here we'll put the code that will be executed in iterations until the condition makes the loop stop. So I'm going to put this out, and I'm going to put some random code in here. For example, I love my cat. So if we click run in here, this format will always return us true until we initialize it, give it a condition, and then update it. So if we click run, we'll have an infinite loop. So to have a control over this loop, we're going to initialize an integer variable in here. The second section is our condition. So we're going to run this loop as long as I is less than 10. And lastly, we have our update section. And we can write in here I equals I plus 1. Or this whole thing in here is the same as writing I plus plus. So once again, there are 3 sections in the for loop. Is the initialization section, the condition section, and the update section. So our variable will start from 0. 0 is less than 10. This will return true. Then our statement here will be printed to the console. I will be increased by 1 and will be stored in our integer right here. And then this cycle will repeat until we have a false condition. So if we run this, we have I love my cat printed 10 times. To have it more clear, I'm gonna print out the value of the variable in here. So I'm gonna say here the value of my variable is plus I. And as you can see, the loop will run until the condition is false. So when the I is 10, 10 is not less than 10, so the loop will terminate. So another way of doing this that you will definitely come across is by using system outprintf. Now this method requires at least 2 arguments. The first one is a string format specifier, and then it will be a variable. There can be many variables after I. So what is a format specifier? So it's a string that contains special characters that will then be replaced by the variables right here. And I'm gonna show you one for this tutorial. So format specifiers begin with percentage and end with a letter. And for integer value, you need the D letter. So what happens here is that this will be replaced by the value value of our variable. And here, instead of a plus, you need a comma. If we try to run this, we'll have all our values in one line. To separate them, we can add a blank sysout statement in here. This will print a new line for us. Or I can do it with another special character in here, which is /n. Which will have the same effect on printing our values in a new line for us. This may be a lot of information at once, but try practicing for loops, try to code it on your own, fix any errors if you have, and that's how you reach proficiency, by practicing. So that's it for this lecture. We have a lot of new exciting things to learn about Java in the next lectures, so follow me there. Hello everybody, welcome back to the course. And today we're going to be looking at a widely used statement in Java, which is an if statement. Now I am at Eclipse and I'm going to be doing the usual stuff. I'm going to open a Java project and create a Java class. I'm going to name this project if statements. And then by right clicking in if statements folder, I'm going to create a new class. I'm going to name it my application. Now let's create our words in main method will mean, so you don't have to worry about it right now. Now we're gonna go back to our Boolean variables. So until now we've seen the comparison sign, which looks like this. However, we also have other signs that return true or false, in other words, that return a Boolean value, and we're gonna be looking at them right now. So we're gonna create other Boolean variables. Now we can call the variables by the sign name. For example, comparison not equals. This is, for example, to test if a number or a Boolean variable is not equal to another one. For example, 3 is not equal to 4. This will return true. If we do 3 not equal to 3, it will return false. Another sign that we could use here is equals. You should know the difference when you have 1 equals and 2 equals. So 1 equals means that you're assigning a value to the variable. And if you use 2 equal signs, you're testing the equality. So you're testing if 5 is equal to 5. This will return true. But if you do 5 equals to 9, that will of course be false. So if we print our variables, this out, control space, all of them will print true. So as you can see, they all print true. But if we change the numbers or values, they will print false. So 3 is not less than 2. Here we're saying that 3 is not equal to 3. Here we're saying that 5 is equal to 4. So all of them are false. Okay, so let's use these conditions in an if statement. An if statement should look like this. You have the if keyword, and you open the parenthesis. The condition goes within the parenthesis, as in while statements, and you also have the curly braces. Let's say right here that 3 is not equal to 10, and we're gonna open the curly braces. Here we're gonna put some text. Now, if this condition right here returns true, the text right here will be printed to the console. But if not, then nothing will be printed to the console. So the condition is true and our statement is printed to the console. But if we say 10 is not equal to 10, then nothing will be printed out. Of course, we can also use variables in here. We're going to create an integer variable, int amount, let's say 20. And we're going to say here amount, it equals to 20. We need here a semicolon, which will result false, and nothing will be printed out. Now, while using if statements, you often want to take an action, right? If this results false, you want to take another action. So you can also use else. You open the same curly braces. If this statement results false, instead of not printing anything to the console, the control will go to else. It will be printed this statement in here. So we can run it. If this action cannot be made and it results false, then this action will be made instead. But if this condition in here returns true, the else statement will not do anything. So for example, if we do amount is less than 21, this is true, and the line within else statement will not be printed. Now what we could also do is create an else if statement and put another condition in here. Let's say the amount is greater than 30. Let's change the value here to 20. And if we run this, nothing will be printed. This is false and this is false as well. In this case, what we could do is add an else statement. Now, if none of the statements above match the criteria, this else statement will be printed out. By the way, you can have as many else if statements as you want, and you can test as many variables as you want in here. So if I say here that amount is less than 22, then the first one will be printed out. None of the following else if statement will be printed out. If I say, for example, right here 35, then the else if statement will be printed out. And if all the tests result to false, then this else statement will always be printed out. Now another interesting thing that's worth mentioning in here is that with an if statement you can control loops. So for example, we've seen while loops in previous lectures. I'm gonna set this to 0 and I'm gonna say amount is less than 6. Then I'm gonna open the curly braces and here I'm gonna write sys out in the loop. So you know that if I run this, we're gonna have an infinite loop. So as we mentioned in previous lectures, we have to update the variable in the condition. So you already know that amount plus plus is adding 1 to amount for every iteration. So if we run this, you see that our statement is printed 6 times in the console. However, another way of controlling this loop could be with an if statement. So if we delete the condition, if we say this loop will always be true, it will run infinitely, but we add here an if statement, for example, if amount equals to 6, open the curly braces, and we say break. This is the same thing as controlling the loop from this condition. So we previously set the condition right here. Now we're controlling it with this if statement. So this keyword break right here will break out the loop as soon as the amount equals to 6. So if I write right here sys out of the loop, now as you can see, seen here, when the amount equals to 6, the break will jump out of the loop, so none of these will be executed. Okay, so that's it for this tutorial. Don't forget to practice. In this lecture, we're gonna go through get.
We've lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. just enjoy it. I'm not thinking about forever. I won't care if we don't end up together. Let's get high tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel, yeah. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one who doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna fall. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Oh yeah. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Yeah. Doesn't wanna fall in love. We've lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one who doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna fall. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna feel. Doesn't wanna fall in love. May not see eye to eye, but we can be chill for just this moment. So turn out the lights and let's make a deal to just enjoy it. I'm not thinking about forever. I won't care if we don't end up together. Let's get high tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel, yeah. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one who doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna fall. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Oh yeah. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Yeah. Doesn't wanna fall in love. We've lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one who doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna fall in doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna feel. Doesn't wanna fall in love. May not see eye to eye, but we can be chill for just this moment. So turn out the lights and let's make a deal to just enjoy it. I'm not thinking about forever. I won't care if we don't end up together. Let's get high tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel, yeah. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one who doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna fall in doesn't wanna fall in love. Oh, yeah. Doesn't wanna fall in love. Yeah. Doesn't wanna fall in love. We've lost track of time, don't know how to feel, but I'm not sorry. I'm lost in your eyes, are you even real? But don't you worry, I'm not looking for the one. No, I just wanna have some fun. So let's get drunk tonight, 'cause fuck how we feel. But for now, I won't give it all away, 'cause I don't think I'll stay. No, I can't be the only one who doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna fall in doesn't wanna fall in love. Doesn't wanna feel.
Getting user input. I'm gonna open a Java project. Getting user input. Open a class. This time I'm gonna type my main method. Public static void main string arrays args, which stands for arguments, and I'm gonna open my curly braces. And I'm gonna use scanner class to get user input. So scanner class looks like this. You already seen the string class, and this is scanner class. So here I've created a variable that refers to an object of a scanner type. I'm gonna call it input. Of course, you can call it anything you want. And the reason I'm getting an error right here is that I need a statement at the top of the class file. That statement imports the scanner class, so my program knows where to find it. I could either type it by myself or I can make Eclipse import it for me. I can go to this icon right here and click import scanner. Or there is another handy shortcut that we could use here. There's a Control Shift. So I got this statement right here, which must be the first line of your file. Unless you have a package statement in the file, but we'll look into that in the next lectures. So I have a scanner variable in here, but currently it doesn't refer to any scanner object. So I'm gonna type here new scanner system.in. Don't worry if you don't understand the syntax, because we'll go through it later on. So what I'm doing here is creating a new scanner object, and I'm passing to it the standard predefined system.in input stream object. To get some user input, I'll first in a string variable, and I'm gonna say this string variable equals to input.next line. And here I'm gonna add a prompt. A prompt is just a line that asks a user to do something. And I'm gonna say here sysout, enter a text line. And by line I mean that the user can write 0 or more characters, but they must hit the return key, and that's the definition of a line. And once I've got the line, I'm gonna say sysout your line is plus text. So here we've put our string variable. At this line right here, we're telling the user what to do. Right here, we wait for their input, so we wait for their line, and this statement only displays the line you've entered. And if we run this program, you see it outputs enter a text line. And we can write anything right here. I'll say I love coding. And if I press enter, it says your line is I love coding. However, we're not limited of getting only lines of text. We can also, for example, get integers. Enter an integer. And here instead of string text, I'm gonna say int a value. And here we're gonna change the line into int. And here we're gonna say your number is. Here we're gonna change it to a value. Now if we run this, it outputs enter an integer. And if we say 5, click enter, it will say your number is 5. Unfortunately, this program isn't very robust, because if we type letters when we wait for numbers, the program will crash. However, at least it will throw an exception, and we'll go through exceptions later on in this course. We can also get a decimal point number. I'm going to show you how. Here I'll say enter a decimal number. I'm going to write input.next. Scanner programs more robust. You need to use some scanner methods that help you search for the type of the input, and you have to combine them with if statements in order for your program not to crash if the user inputs the wrong type. However, I'm gonna leave that for you in the resources section.
Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're